Good evening. I'm Hank Pattison, and this is CBMF. Tonight, my guest is AFL-CIO Chairman George Meany, who will be discussing collective bargaining agreements. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. I got that mixed up. I am talking with the indefatigable Andrew May about Superman.
I don't even know where to dissect.
So, I heard that Zack Snyder wants to adapt The Fountainhead, which is all about individualism over collectivism. And it got me wondering if that was the message of his Superman. Like, that's why his Superman doesn't help people, because that's not a heroic virtue to Snyder. What he thinks is the mark of a hero is somebody who abandons society to follow their own path. Somebody who just says, fuck it, I do what I want. His dad, in the first movie, is all, you don't have to save those school kids. And his mom is all, you don't have to be Earth's hero. You don't owe them anything. So here's my question. Does Superman's selfless giving of himself make him a socialist icon? And are we seeing the attempts to reinterpret him into an embodiment of objectivism, prizing self-interest as an ethically superior rejection of altruism?
What if this is when you found out that I'm not nearly as smart as you thought I was? I'm like, I don't understand any of that. I just like the colors of Superman, the primary colors.
He punches people. That's what he does, right? He's a big punchy dude.
Oh, this is a good one. Did we preface that I did not know this question beforehand?
We did not, but I mean,
but
you're
now I am. Okay. I think there's a lot to be said about this. The idea of Superman as a socialist is sort of one that I would agree with. I think generally it's hard for me to associate the sort of moralistic element of him with something as socialism, which seems very politically driven, but I guess you could say that everything is political in nature in some degree. If you're asking me, I would say yes. I do see Superman as somewhat of a socialist icon. I say that as someone who, while generally nonpartisan, I find myself leaning towards a lot of socialist ideals. Is this something that you would agree with?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
not socialism
I would
in
call
general.
you a bleeding heart liberal.
I mean, I admire aspects of both parties, but I try
I was about to start doing the Gazorpa Field bit.
Which one is this?
Oh, from Rick and Morty.
We're
cutting all this.
I'm
glad I didn't start yelling at you for being white. Because that's what the Zorba Field does. We're cutting all this.
Yeah, I would say the idea immediately that Zack Snyder could be reinterpreting it as an individualist thing really doesn't sit well with me. It seems like it's so starkly in contrast with not even just the modern interpretation of that character, but the inception of that character. Like, the first thing we see him do, I know it's in the issue. Maybe he does something fucking like jumps over a wall or something stupid before. He's like,
amazing. An entire wall in a single leap.
But he beats up a wife beater. Like,
my favorite from the Siegel Schuster stuff is the thing about the this crooked landowner isn't going to fix up the apartments, so he knocks them all down and forces them to rebuild them, which is such a that sets the mode for Superman's method of problem solving for the rest of his career of I bet I can punch this better.
I can knock that down, yeah.
What is this? Is that some sort of global strife going on? I'll punch it better.
I will say that those are the worst Superman stories. I like the ones where he doesn't throw a punch at all. But,
what's the point? Holy fuck, what do you want? Where he doesn't throw a punch. You and I have very different expectations. My worst Superman stories are this again gets into Death of Superman is the first, Superman 75 was the first Superman comic I bought. He is literally punching on every page of that book. If there is a page that he is not punching someone, he is dead.
But would you say that The Death of Superman is a good
book?
Oh,
it's terrible.
Yeah.
It really informs a lot of why I think he's a terrible character.
Oh,
all he does is punch people. He's fucking horrible.
It's not true at all, though. He's it's weird because you're asking me, and it gets to a point where it's like, I acknowledge my bias here, and I cannot have a discussion without doubting everything I'm saying. I want you to know for a fucking fact the literal first two words that came out of my mouth when I walked out of Man of Steel were, "It's perfect."
What the fuck?
And what, 3 years later, I fucking hate that movie. But I was so blinded that it was, I couldn't contain myself.
Hey, I get that. That's really sad, but I
People keep
understand.
saying that to me.
Because Man of Steel is terrible.
Oh,
well,
it's
no,
so
it's not
bad.
terrible. Like it's hey man, it was a successful movie. Like
I hate it. If it weren't for Suicide Squad, it would be my least favorite DC film.
They're all just a unrecognizable palette of gray black.
Yeah.
But I think that about all those movies.
You think that about everything?
Yeah, basically. Bunch of dreck. Shit, I had something for all of that.